Hello everybody, Dustin Starr here from CW30 Memphis, and today I'm joined by Cordell Walker himself, Jared Padalecki. Jared, how are you?
I'm doing well, brother. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining us here. You came from a big hit show in Supernatural. It ran 15 seasons. Now you already have another hit with Walker. It's renewed for the second season. What is it about this project that drew you to it, and how'd you come up with your version of Cordell Walker?
What's funny is that I loved my time on Supernatural. I still love my cast and my crew. And ultimately, we were shooting that in Vancouver. I live in Austin, Texas, and so my buddy Jensen, who we did the show with each other for 15 years, we both have wives and kids that live here in Texas, and so we looked at each other one day. We were like, "Hey, we should probably go try and meet our wives and kids," because we were just gone all the time, seeing our families 4 days a month or something. And so we decided to go ahead and send Supernatural off with a bang, which we're really proud of. And then this show was kind of developed while I was sitting in my trailer, season 14 of Supernatural, thinking about storylines I was interested in watching or being a part of. And so it occurred to me that I've said this publicly. I wanted to retire after Supernatural. I was sort of like, 5 years on Gilmore Girls, 15 and a half on Supernatural. And I was like, I want to take some time off. And then I got that time off during pandemic, and I was with kids and my wife all day long. And I was like, I want to go back to work. Uh, so, uh, so we figured out how to make the best of both worlds. And so now I get to, I'm here in my home in Austin. I go to work after this. But I'm able to see my kids and my wife every day and sleep in my bed in my house. And so it's the closest thing for an actor to be able to work and work hard on something he's proud of, but still be a husband and a father if they happen to have a wife and kids.
Absolutely. It's like you got home field advantage. And I want to ask you about your wife, and I want to ask you about working in your hometown, but we all remember all the martial arts from the original show. I mean, come on, you're following in the footsteps of a great Chuck Norris. What's that like? No pressure, right?
Well, I think the way we luckily decided to approach that was we kind of had this motto of this. Chuck's Walker was about a ranger who happened to have friends and family. This show is about a man with friends and family who happens to be a ranger. So we would say, like, Chuck's Walker was about roundhouse kicks. This Walker is about a well-rounded family. So it's more about a guy, a person, no matter their profession, who's dealing with these crazy world issues we find ourselves in, and trying to do the best they can, and trying to forgive themselves, and trying to move past it. And so this show is much more of a family show than a karate show. And the world has changed in the last 25 years, and I don't think there's a big appetite for someone with a badge to go walk around randomly kicking people. I certainly wouldn't want to watch the show today. And so we went. It's really more of a reimagining than a reboot or remake. I'm a fan of all the. I watched the original Walker. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, and it was on all the time. It was like a rite of passage. But this show is definitely different. This show is about someone who happens to be a ranger, as opposed to like, I'm a ranger and I'm about to kick you. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now you mentioned family. Your wife has a reoccurring role as Walker's late wife.
I need you to promise me that you're going to be there for them.
I don't know how.
And the show, like you said, is filmed in Austin, Texas. Home field advantage for you. So what does it mean to you to be able to work with your family and be that close to home? You touched on it a little bit, but you had to get out of there during the pandemic to get a little rest, right?
Yeah, we did. We did do a little road trip during the pandemic, but it's great. It's what I've always hoped for. And my career prior, in 2000, I moved to Austin to go to UT, and then went out to Los Angeles kind of on a bit of a lark, and got a show called Gilmore Girls. Did that for 5 years, but I never really considered Los Angeles my home. And so then Supernatural went up to Vancouver, and that certainly wasn't my home. I always considered Texas my home, and more specifically Austin. It's where I always knew I wanted to be. And so the idea that, and then my wife and I bought a place here in 2009. And so we'd have time off. We'd be like, well, let's go to Austin. 2010, maybe, whatever it was. And so to be here now and to be able to go work and go do something I'm proud of and working hard at, and then come home and see my kids, you know, it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because if I come home and I'm exhausted from stunts or whatever, and I just want to go, like if I was in Vancouver, I would just go to bed. But here I get home and it's 7 o'clock and the kids are just going to bed. But now the dad's home. It's like, Dad, let me like play chase with you. Dad, let's go throw the football. Dad, let's go play with the dogs. Dad, let's go swimming. And so it's not really like I'm going home and going to sleep. It's like I'm going home and having family time, which is so much better, but a little bit more tiring. So I wish I'd done this when I was, you know, in my 20s, not in my late 30s, but it is what it is.
Jared, thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining us here on CW30 Memphis.
Yeah, thank you. I love Memphis, by the way.
And we love you, and we look forward to seeing all the new episodes of Walker.
Thanks, brother. Be good out there.